Hi, everybody. I have something to share with you today that came across in one of my readings. Actually, it's from the Center for Action and Contemplation, which is Father Richard Rohr's organization, and this is part of his daily meditation series. This particular one for Thursday, September 10th, happens to be continuing a series he's been doing on restorative justice, and it's titled A Healing Process. And he writes the following, and then I'm going to ask you some questions as we apply it to ourselves, either personally or our culture and our community and our country today. He writes, "Many people seem to be turning away from law as coercion and are looking to restorative and reparative principles. Restorative is defined as, quote, the process for renewing damaged personal and community relationships, close quote. Reparative is defined as, quote, the process of making things right for those affected by an offender's behavior, close quote. In other words, how can we help the victims? We use only one word for both ideas, peacemaking. And then, I guess it is not he, I guess it is a woman who actually wrote this, so I don't want to not give credit there. So she says that she wants to draw heavily on a Navajo practice. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Perhaps I'll be able to put it on the screen, but I have too much respect for the Navajo language for me to attempt this and fail. But it's written, I will simply describe it as, quote, talking things out in a good way, close quote. And the procedure is fairly simple. There are 6 stages to it. Prayer, expressing feelings, what's called the lecture, discussion, reconciliation, and consensus. So let me just tell you about these a little bit. The first thing to do is to pray. A traditional prayer puts people in the right frame of mind for the talking out that's going to happen. So it's like an opening prayer. Then expressing feelings. So after prayer, everyone has a say about what happened. They also express how they feel about what happened. In peacemaking, you must know how I feel, and I must know how you feel. That is part of making or restoring a healthy relationship, isn't it? The third step is called, in quotes, the lecture. But what it is, that after the prayers have been said and after the emotions have been expressed, when people have told their stories, then it's time for guidance from the peacemaker, an elder in the community, someone you have agreed will be your, I don't want to say arbiter, but maybe that's the word, but the person overseeing this process. And the peacemaker does some teaching by offering guidance from Navajo stories and traditions and ceremonies and applying them to the situation. Our peacemakers teach the law. It's supposed to be what a sermon is supposed to do, right? Take things from our Christian heritage and background and help to apply them to current situations. The fourth step is discussion. Who participates in the peacemaking? The parties themselves, because we become the judges. We judge each other when there's a conflict. And there's the leader and the planner, the peacemaker, and relatives, members of the immediate extended community. The discussion phase also gets at the causes of the problems. The fifth stage is reconciliation, because if you operate on a winner-take-all system of justice, which sadly is what most of us grew up with, we can expect ongoing problems. If you have a system that works toward reconciliation, you may resolve the conflicts that underlie ongoing problems. Let me say that again. If you have a system that works toward reconciliation, you can resolve the conflicts that underlie the ongoing problems. And she points out Navajo justice is restorative justice. And then the final step is consensus. She says, finally, based upon the prayer, venting, discussion, and knowledge of the traditional way of doing things, the people themselves usually reach a consensus about what to do. Planning is actually a central Navajo justice concept, and the people plan a very practical solution to the problem. Today we put it in writing and the parties sign it. Consensus is what makes our justice and harmony ceremony, peacemaking, a healing process. So as you think over maybe a situation in your own life where there has been some rancor or some division or some fracture of a relationship, or maybe you think about our world today and our communities, our culture, what word or phrase resonates with or challenges you? Is there some concept in here that challenges you when you think about a particular situation? And secondly, what sensations do I notice in my body as I'm thinking about this? And finally, what are the steps that are yours to do and yours to accomplish? I think we could all stand to wrestle with this a little bit. Whether we're talking about the isms in our society right now, most notably racism, or we're talking about a sense of betrayal, perhaps from our government, or perhaps from another individual or a group of people, or we're talking about homophobia, or we're talking about sexism. This process, I think, this process of prayer, expressing feelings, having a lecture from a wise person, an elder, a discussion, then reconciliation, and finally reaching consensus. I think this process could go a long way toward helping us move forward and not just keep rehashing the same territory over and over and over again. Whether it's you with a member of your family, or you with a neighbor, maybe even you with yourself. I kind of was reading this and thinking, oh, this might apply to some ongoing turmoil I have within myself. I'll have to explore that a little more. At any rate, she ends with this prayer. So I invite us to pray it with her. O great love, thank you for living and loving in us and through us. May all that we do flow from our deep connection with you and all beings. Help us become a community that vulnerably shares each other's burdens and the weight of glory. Listen to our heart's longings for the healing of our world. Knowing you are hearing us better than we are speaking, we offer these prayers in all the holy names of God. Amen. Just a little thought for us today as we spend some time in our prayerful pause, a moment to think of something greater than ourselves. I hope it brings a challenge and some resolution and peace to your life. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. Hope to see you back here for another prayerful pause meditation. If you'd like to learn more about South Church or to see more of our meditations or worship services, watch the end cap. It has both our YouTube address and our website on it. And until next time, God bless, however you define that, God. God bless. Take care. Be careful. There's still a lot of COVID out there, right? Be careful and cautious. Keep the faith. Alrighty. Bye for now. See you next time.